Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I just celebrated 10K in just 2 weeks of the month. And I really want to break down some of these really important lessons that I think are going to be so valuable for you. And I'm going to be talking about 4 key lessons inside this episode. So let's just jump straight into it. Really quickly, the logistics of it, let me just kind of cover that before we go into some of the energetics and some of the messaging and things like that. The main income that came in was from my 2 main group programs. So it was partially recurring revenue and then partially my new 6-week mini mind that I launched in the back end, which I'm going to talk more about in a second. And then also sales from my low ticket offer cash pile content, which I launched this the week that I'm recording this week. Okay. All right. So my number one lesson is run with the idea now. Take action now. Stop waiting, stop perfecting, stop overanalyzing, and stop over planning. I really think that this gets in the way for so many of us. We're like, okay, an idea drops in. Yay. I'm so excited. But what about this? How long? How do I talk about it? Maybe I shouldn't do that because of this. Well, there's also the holidays coming up. Oh, well, maybe people are buying a lot of gifts for other people. Maybe I should just wait. Oh, but this thing's also coming up. Well, maybe I should launch on the full moon because then there's this and then there's that. And then maybe I should do this here. It's like we get so caught up in our heads about this whole thing. And then we just spiral and it just causes inaction. So the important thing here is to focus on taking action right away. Okay. I just launched a course, Rogue Launch, which is my signature launching program, and it's doing really well. I am teaching live in it and it has been going great. And I was asking myself, how can I deepen in the support of my clients and what they're learning? And the idea of a 6-week mini mind dropped in. This came at a Saturday around 10 or 11 p.m. I think it was like 10:30 or something like that. And I came up with the idea, and literally within 10 minutes or so, I just kind of jotted down some notes of what I wanted it to be like, what we were going to create in the mini mind. And I just jotted down those details. I was like, okay, let's do it. And then within about 10-15 minutes, I posted about it in my Telegram chat. And then I posted about it later on Slack for my mastermind students, because this ended up being a back end launch only for my current students who were already a part of the program. So this was not a public full-on launch. This was a back end launch to current students only. Okay. So I came up with the messaging. I felt into the essence of it. I felt into the energy. And I noticed in the past, sometimes I'll get these great ideas. And then because of ADHD, I forget about them, or I just don't take the action, or I think myself out of it. I think about this. I think about that. I think about, well, is this the right time? Should I do it then? Well, maybe it would be better if I did that. Oh, the pricing, this and that. And I just get all in my head. And then sometimes I end up either forgetting about it or just not going through with it at all because I've just overthunk myself. I know that's not a word, but that's essentially what happens. And then it doesn't end up going into creation. And then I look back and think, yeah, I really could have done that, but why didn't I? So this time I got the feeling, I got the hit, I got the nudge, I dropped into the messaging, I dropped into the energy, and I was like, let's just do it. I don't want to wait. I do not want to put this off. And I really want to just talk about it right now. So it was 10 p.m. I didn't think any of my students were necessarily awake, at least those in my time zone. I didn't expect anyone to respond right away. But while I was fresh in the energy, which I think was a really big piece of it, while I was fresh in the energy, I sent the post, and then I also sent a voice note with this really excited, fired up, let's get into it. Let's create this fast-paced, action-focused mini mind where you really dial in on what you want to create in the next 6 weeks and let's make it happen. And it felt so good. And literally 5 minutes later, I got a response from one of my students saying, hey, I'm interested in the mini mind. And by the next morning, she'd paid in full. The next day, I think I signed someone else. And the day after that, I signed someone else. And I was getting a couple pay in fulls. And then I did some payment plans. And we just had our first call of the mini mind yesterday. And it was amazing. So I'm really proud of myself. I'm really, really proud of how this all came together. And I'm most proud of my ability to run with the idea ASAP and not wait. How many times have you had an idea that you wanted to marinate and percolate and you want to curate the curriculum and this and that, and you wait and wait and wait and wait, hoping that there's going to be a day where you just feel ready, right? Like you feel like the clouds are going to part and there's going to be a loud booming voice from the sky that's going to tell you that you're ready. And when that doesn't happen, you just kind of drag it on and drag it on and drag it on and drag it on. And then it's like, okay, is this thing actually happening or not, right? But when you take action right away, and that's not to say that you always have, like there are definitely some things where you want to like sit on and make sure you feel really good about and that it's aligned to you, right? Like big decisions, absolutely. But if you feel aligned to it and the only thing that's holding you back is fear, that is when you know you're about to make a brave move. Okay, so that's number one, running with the idea now. Number two is stop being afraid of the sale. Take up space, be loud about it, and don't be afraid to repeat yourself. I would have never done this mini mind if I was stuck, and I did have to self-coach myself on this. I did have to work on the mindset and energetics of this in order to make it happen. But for the mini mind, like I mentioned, I was selling to current students. That means some of them are already on a payment plan with me. They're already in one of my containers. And here I am pitching this offer to jump into another container with me that I've now created for them, and be able to sell it powerfully. How am I able to do that? Is because I know that selling is serving. I know that in this course, it's a lot of teaching and training. And if I create a mini mind where they can build out their entire launch plan and get my customized, tailored support and my eyes and ears inside their launch, building out the plan with them, workshopping their marketing strategy, diving into their sales strategy, all these different things, I'm able to offer a different level of support through these 6 weekly live calls that are going to be so impactful. And I fully believe in that. And I know that this type of energy and this type of way of approaching selling, it is powerful, right? It's impactful. It makes a difference. And my clients can feel that. And not only that, I'm aligned to this. This is not something anyone asked me to do. This is not something that I'm doing because I feel like I have to. In fact, there's like 2 days where it like runs into Thanksgiving and it runs into my birthday weekend. And we're very, very close to Thanksgiving and Christmas, where it probably would have been more logical and convenient to not do this. But I just felt the nudge and I was like, let's just do it. It feels so good. I want to do it. And I led with that energy. So if I was afraid to ask for the sale, if I was afraid to really not take up space, like I would have never done this. And there were a few instances where I was coaching a client, and afterwards I just privately was like, hey, I think that this would actually be a really good fit for you. What do you think? Do you want to hear more details? Yes or no? No pressure, right? And I only ever reach out to someone. I've never sent a cold DM. And I only reach out to like current clients or someone who's worked with me in different containers. And in this instance, like you had to be actively working with me to join the mini mind. I would only reach out if I felt really, really, really aligned. Like there's something specific that I'm like, I think this would be perfect for what you're looking for. And I did that and they were like, yeah, yes, absolutely. I also had so many clients reach out because I was posting in the Telegram, I was posting in the Slack, and so many people going, yeah, this is so interesting. Like, please tell me the details. And I did also have a lot of clients who were like, you know what? Not right now. I don't have the capacity. My scheduling doesn't work, whatever. And that was totally fine. But it ended up being a great group of women who jumped in, and it's perfect. It's the perfect container. Okay, so do not be afraid to ask for the sale. Do not be afraid to take up space. When you are selling, you are serving. And if you have, if you're having issues with this, if this feels really difficult to you, I want you to work on your coach identity. This is your identity that you hold as a coach, as a leader, okay? This is going to be something that is going to carry into all of your content, all of your messaging, all of the way that you sell, right? This is going to be a really important piece of you showing up in your business. So make sure that you are taking up that space and you are practicing doing that and you are giving yourself the space and time to do that, because this is really, really crucial. The more you can take up space, the more you can get people's attention, the more you can get their sale, right? And this is a big part of entrepreneurship, is putting yourself in front of people, taking up space, selling, even when it doesn't feel logical, even when it feels like you should probably just like keep it to yourself, or you've already sold yesterday, why should I sell again today? It's like breaking through all of those thoughts and limiting beliefs to really connect with the people who are your people, right? And one of my best thoughts is like, every time I sell, I make sales. So if I go to your page and the last post was of your cat, or like this, random picture where you're not selling, there's no CTA, I don't know what it is that you do, I'm not getting any value from your content, right? I can pretty much easily at this point in my business tell how much money someone is making based on their content, and also intuitive energy, just kind of feeling into it, or whatever kind of comes to me as I'm on their page, right? I do a lot of this content auditing and energetic auditing for my clients to help get into the subconscious root of what is preventing them from showing up, selling, and taking up space. A lot of what I'm working on with my clients right now is moving from that good girl coach energy into like the boundaried sovereign leader that is taking up space, being in their fullest expression, unapologetic, and selling. The third lesson that I learned from the 10K in 2 weeks is really fine-tuning my messaging, which is essentially what happened for the majority of the sales, right? Some of it came from recurring revenue of payment plans. So it wasn't new sales, it was just recurring sales, which I still count as sales, right? It's still money that comes in, right? It's not new clients, but it is recurring revenue that is continuing in my business. Okay. So I didn't run a single sales call. I didn't run any ads. I did not put out any crazy funnels. I didn't do any like big collaborations or anything like that. This was all from people who were watching my content, and this was all from my own messaging. So if it wasn't Instagram content, then it was messaging in the Telegram, messaging via email, or messaging in Slack, right? Because you can sell to your current clients, and the best way to reach my clients is through email or the private group that we're in, which was either Telegram or Slack, right? So that is where I would message about the upcoming mini mind. And that is, and then of course I created content around the low ticket offer. I create content on a daily basis, essentially, in my business. So all of it boils down to messaging. How clear are you in your messaging? And it's not so much exactly what you're saying, it's how you're saying it, right? It's not necessarily the words that you're stringing together in a sentence. This is not about intellect or grammar or any of those things. This is about energetic match and potency, right? So when you are able to be potent and clear, and you show up and activate your audience, that is what we're looking for. We're also looking for those visuals in our heads, right? So in the previous episode, I talked a lot about how, you'll hear things like live your best dream life or manifest anything you want, but that doesn't really give us a visual in our heads, right? It's like going into a movie scene and telling the actress to act out manifesting anything you want. It's like, what does that look like? How do you act that out? What's happening? What's the time, the place, the location, the outcome, the results, the actions, the thoughts, like what's happening, right? We want to be able to touch it and taste it and feel it. So if I said, hey, there's a 6-week mini mind coming up and you're going to hit your goals, message me, I don't know that my clients would reach out to me, right? But some of the things I said was, let me pull up a specific post, but some of the things I said was, this is an action-focused mini mind. You're going to get tailored homework from me. This is the investment. We're starting on X date. This is an intimate small group. If you want to sell out your next offer and create content that's so clear that it converts your clients in minutes, if you want to feel more effortless and at ease with selling, if you want to create your launch plan from beginning to end, the mini mind is for you. DM me for details. I also said, when you have extra support across 6 weekly calls to finish the year together and create a custom launch plans that makes you sales ASAP from your best clients, you will see an increase in your sales. Your income will go up. Your aligned clients will come out of the woodworks asking to work with you, right? So I was very, very, very clear in the sense of like, this is exactly who it's for. This is what you're going to accomplish. This is what you get. And here's why you want to be a part of this mini mind. DM me for more information and let's go, right? So I talked about the essence. I talked about what you get. I talk about the transformation. I talk about who are the best clients for this offer, right? And so that's a really important piece, is the messaging. We can't do this without the messaging. The messaging is just the bridge between your offer and the client's transformation, right? The client desires your offer. It desires that transformation. And the way to feel into it, the way to connect with it, the way to go, oh my God, that's exactly what I want, and I want it yesterday, is through your content. So this is a really crucial piece of selling, is really fine-tuning your messaging. And if you find that you are putting out a lot of content, right, and you are showing up consistently and still people aren't buying, then it's likely an issue with the clearness of your content that speaks to your best clients, right? And are you speaking to your lower level clients, or are you speaking to your best, highest quality clients? That's also a piece of this that I dive into my work with my clients. I also created a 3-part training on this called Cash Pile Content. It is $44 for now. It will be rising significantly. You can purchase it through the show notes or the link in my bio. Cash Pile Content teaches you how to write content that makes sales ASAP. It teaches you my fly on the wall content method that has literally had people sign up within minutes, if not seconds, of me posting on Instagram. Like I mentioned, I don't do calls, I don't do ads, I don't do anything crazy. I don't have a sales team in my business. I mainly create fire, alive, potent content that speaks directly to my best clients, and that is where my sales comes from. Okay. So Cash Pile Content is a 3-part series that is a deep dive training on content and how to stack cash now through your content, not 6 months from now, not a year from now, but how do you write content that is so clear to your aligned clients and lets them know that this is exactly what they want and purchasing within minutes. All right. So get Cash Pile Content now before the price increases drastically, because it will very soon. Okay, the last lesson from my 10K in 2 weeks is really getting good at catching my mindset better than ever. I think my mindset is at tip-top shape right now. It is the best that it has been in a really long time. When you first start your business, there is, of course, a level of risk, right? But you also don't have all of this kind of impending, memories and patterns of people not signing up and having low cash months and feeling kind of like that hit to your ego. When you've been in business a couple years like I have, and I know a lot of you listening have, it feels a bit harder sometimes to go into a launch because you have that memory of that failed launch that failed very publicly, and it felt really rough, and it felt like you took a big hit, right, to the ego and to the heart, and it just felt like you wanted to close your heart up, and it just felt really nasty, right? It was like, oh God, I don't want to feel like this again. This sucks. And to get up again and to be brave enough enough to launch again and sell again and put together a whole new program again after that fail, that takes a lot of bravery that I don't think we talk about enough in the coaching industry, because it can really, really, really bring you down after that. And you have to, as an entrepreneur, really be able to know how to process your emotions, regulate your nervous system, get the coaching and support you need in order to get back up. This is not about just like, go, 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 hustle, 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 get back on the ground. Don't even stop to think. This is not about that. This is about building a level of emotional intelligence and capacity for uncomfortable emotions, uncomfortable experiences like rejection and sadness and disappointment and all the things that we essentially don't want to feel in our businesses, but often do because we're entrepreneurs, right? So I really think a big piece of this for me was catching my mindset and really continuing to bring my mindset back up, continuing to regulate my nervous system, and catching myself when I start to spiral into, it's either not working or it's the end of the year and I am not close to what I wanted to hit for this year. I didn't really set like a very, very clear income goal for this year. Sometimes I just choose not to set money goals because I'm just focusing on prioritizing different things in my business. This was one of those years, but even still, I had a number in mind and I imagine that I would be there by now, and I'm not, and that's okay. There's so many factors that's actually gone into this, where I have had to take care of my daughter that was sick for months. I completely switched up my product suite. I released I let go of my signature course that's been around since 2021. I've made so many changes, and I've also up-leveled as a leader that I'm actually so glad, because I know that everything I've done this year is just going to 10x me and propel me into literally massive, amounts of millions in my business in the next several decades. And that's something that I really focus on, is that sustainable long-term game rather than instant gratification, right? If I looked at this year and was like, oh, it didn't go the way I planned, why didn't I hit this goal? This monthly revenue, blah, 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 right? I would be in a lose-lose situation. But if I look at it from a long-term strategy and look at how I am shifting and upgrading every single thing in my life, in my business, in my relationships, and the way that I work with my clients, I'm going to look at this 10 years from now and be like, wow, thank God I took 2024 to really do the work I needed to do, right? So I'm really proud of my mindset and continuously catching my thoughts, being on top of my energy, and choosing to feel good in the moment, even when it feels like my heart is about to close. That is artistry. That is an art. That is the art of the heart, right? Truly being able to alchemize something into the highest optimal potential when it feels like your heart literally just wants to crumple up and just completely just be done, right? Like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is too hard. These are really uncomfortable feelings. I don't like this experience, right? When you're choosing to feel good in the moment instead of workshopping worst case scenarios, right? I tend to catch when my clients do this, and I also do this sometimes as well. Not as much as before, but of course I'm human. It happens, and I've gotten really good at being on top of it. Again, some days are better than others, but as a whole, when I catch myself starting to spiral, when I catch myself starting to have very, very unhelpful thoughts, I can kind of bring myself back to a level of homeostasis and be able to bring myself to this state of either like neutral or abundant, right? And that's something I've had to work on for years and years and years now, right? Because there's things that just haven't even happened, right? And sometimes my clients will come to me and it's like, well, what if I do this masterclass, but it's on this topic and no one shows up? And if no one shows up, then I don't make any sales in this launch, and that this launch is a flopped launch and blah, blah. And I'm like, whoa, can we get like a name for the masterclass yet? Can we like set a date first for it? Like, let's not workshop these worst case scenarios before anything's even happened. If that happens, we will cross that bridge, right? But can we not like speak death over something that hasn't even had a chance to live yet, right? Like, can we stop doing that in our businesses? And can we hold this energy? And the worst case scenario is that like I just chose to feel really, really, really good while I was launching or when I was posting content or when I was selling, right? Like, it's not going to hurt you to feel good about what it is that you're creating, right? And I think that that's a really important aspect of this is I've really been getting good at catching my mindset and catching like even the first point, right? The first point of like, I chose to take action now. I chose to not put it off. I chose to not postpone it. And that has to go back. That goes back to my mindset of like, I choose to take up space now. I choose to sell this offer now. I choose to be big and bold now. I choose to show up in this way where it feels good to me. And I'm going to be in my bigness. I'm going to be in my leadership. I'm going to be in my heart leadership, which is keeping my heart open, continuing to feel good, continuing to create from the heart space rather than just seeing something as like, oh, this didn't go the way as planned. Okay, I'm just going to call it, right? So really leaning into my mindset and self-coaching and just being aware of my thoughts, because our thoughts, our energy, our subconscious beliefs, right? This feeds into the way that we think, the way that we take action, the way that we make decisions, and that leads into our reality and what we create and our results and our outcome, right? So if we really are focusing every single day on feeling really good in our bodies and being on top of our thoughts and our beliefs and our ways of showing up, this impacts the way that we create in business, and the way that we connect with our clients, and the way that we do business as a whole, as a heart-centered leader. Okay, so those are my 4 main lessons from creating 10K in 2 weeks. Just to recap, number 1 is running with the idea now. Stop procrastinating, stop over perfecting, stop over analyzing. Number 2 is don't be afraid of making the sale, reaching out to clients, taking up space, and really repeating yourself when you're selling. Number 3 is fine-tuning your messaging. You can grab Cash Pile content for $44 currently before it goes up to really work on creating the messaging that makes your clients know that your offer is for them, therefore turning it into sales ASAP minutes after posting. The last lesson, number 4, is catching my mindset when it starts going into it's not working territory and how to alchemize that even when it feels really hard. Leadership, we don't need leadership when things are going well. We need leadership when we are feeling when things are essentially hitting the fan, right? When we are brought to our knees, when we are feeling so overwhelmed, when our heart is ready to close, that is when we need self-leadership. That's when we need the alchemization of our heart, our emotions, our energy. That is when we need leadership the most. And the universe sometimes throws those lessons our way to really test our level of leadership and test how much we've expanded our capacity to feel and to experience these things, which I think is so, so, so impactful. Okay. So I hope you love this episode. I hope you jump into Cash Pile content if you are ready to make sales minutes after posting, if you are ready to connect with your aligned clients in a whole new way and create messaging that you can bring into in-person conversations, emails, Instagram stories, carousels. Cash Pile content is an amazing, amazing offer, and the price is going up very soon. So grab it while you can. And I cannot wait to hear the transformations and wins and celebrations from that 3-part training. All right. I love you all so much. Thank you for hanging with me, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.